prime time on the top game, it's a fine line. Man in the match, that's Dave I. He's the main guy, keep a close eye. Make sure you don't make no wrong play, cause I'm with Jose and Andre. And when Cyrus comes to walk in, you better know that you are watching Premier League. Dave I, tell what time we on. Prime time. Let me hear you say Premier League. Dave I, tell what time we on. Prime time.
Hello and welcome to Premier League Primetime Season 4, Episode 6, and it is the first episode of 2024, the first episode of the new year. And before we get started, I know it was someone's birthday a little while back, Mr. Andre. Very happy late birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it. From everyone at PLPT, thank you.
And of course, I'm joined by everyone. As tradition, how are we all doing? And with that, we're just gonna get straight into it. And of course, where are we starting? None other than Arsenal, of course. Looking at Arsenal's past 4 matches, scores and ratings for Mikel Arteta and stand-up players both on a negative and positive side of things.
Yeah. Like recently, I guess every time we've had this podcast, it's been above a B+ at least, because we've had such a good run of games. But this time, not so much. Ever since Christmas time, we've been really struggling. We did beat Palace 5-0, but just not good enough. But much unlike a lot of Arsenal fans, I'm not extremely worried as some of these fans on AFTV and stuff like that. I trust Arteta. I trust the process. Players need to step up. Players need to be better. We know that. Players that need to be better. Saka has to be better. I need Jesus to start scoring. Martinelli had a good revenge game, I guess, coming off the bench, scoring 2 at the end. But he's been pretty. I don't want to say poor all season, but he hasn't been himself all season. That's for sure. In terms of the midfield, I think Odegaard has been our, bright spark, you could say, compared to the other 3 up top in the poorer games. But again, both our center backs, amazing. Jeez, they are amazing. But yeah, besides that, I'd probably give us about a C-. So yeah.
No, I think you make a great point. I couldn't agree more. I definitely think that you have not have had a good run of games, and as you were kind of mentioning earlier with Bukayo Saka, just is the significant drop in his form for this stretch of games, and maybe even a bit longer than the stretch of games, getting to be an issue now? Is this something that Arsenal supporters should be concerned about, or is this just a temporary dry patch that he'll eventually find his way back from?
I mean, yeah, he had a decent game against Palace. He got an assist, I believe. But when you look at his stats, they're good, right? They're pretty good. But when you actually watch the games, he hasn't been himself, hasn't been the same. But last season, here's my thing with Arteta. My one complaint is that I feel like he overplays Saka. I feel like he'd play every single game, especially last season. He'd play every single Europa League game, every single game, and that really, put effects on Saka. I feel like it was good that Arsenal got a break for a couple of days. And I think that he'll be back because he's going to be a great talent, and he still is.
Yeah, and 2 other things that I just want. Yes, Andre, you wanted to add something.
Yeah, well, at some point, yeah. I was going to say, I feel like Arsenal struggles are a lot of the time happening in that final third. I feel like in defense, midfield, I think they're looking I still think they're looking super strong, among the best in the league. But I think they've just got to diversify what they're doing in the final third. I feel like you can always say players need to step up, but I do feel like it is tactical. They do need to switch something. I feel like it's not. I feel like they're pouring a lot of players into the opposing half, but it's still not risky enough. I feel like they're still playing too safe to just keep getting goals in a way that is, rivaling City and whatnot. I just think final third is the one area they're lacking in order to honestly win the title.
No, yeah, I agree with that, and I definitely do believe that they have issues up front in regards to scoring goals. And a couple points that I just want to bring up before we move on to Aston Villa. I think two players that I've just, whenever I see play left back, I still wonder why Arteta got rid of Kieran Tierney. And because, Sirius has said it so many times, you've all said it, when Zinchenko plays at left back defensively, he's a liability. And it's not just him, but now he's been playing Kivior left back, and it's just been the same sort of similar things. So I think that in the back of my mind, if I'm an Arsenal supporter, I think I'm probably asking the question, why did you get rid of Kieran Tierney when he's your most natural left back that you probably have at the football club?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think
Spot on.
I agree as well.
Yep, I
think Tierney's
100% agree.
a good player still, despite his injuries. And with in terms of Kivior, I really don't think it's his fault. He's not a left back. He's a center back. He's playing out of position. But with Zinchenko, I mean, you guys are right. He's a defensive liability. When Zinchenko plays best is when he's playing against, wingers that aren't like Mohamed Salah, things like that. But against the teams like Liverpool, Man U, he just can't play. I just don't think he can.
Agreed. And two things I wanted to bring up. First off, the issues are back again with 29 Kai Havertz. Just what has gone wrong again? Because it seemed like he was slowly starting to find his feet, and now it just seems like it's just all gone in the bin again with Havertz. What's going on with him?
Yeah, the thing about Kai Havertz is he's been very inconsistent. He had that good run of games, and now it kind of seems like he's back to where he was before. But here's the thing. We've been linked with center mids throughout this whole window, but I really don't think we're gonna buy anyone because I really think Arteta wants us to work. Rumors said that Edu was a little hesitant on the buy, but Arteta really has put all his trust in Kai Havertz, and he's on a lot of money. His wages.
He's on more money than Declan. He's on more money than, I think Rice is on like around the 200 grand mark, and Kai Havertz is like in like the 300 something.
Yeah, here's my thing. Arteta's gonna give him a whole season. I don't think we're gonna sign another center mid just because Arteta needs Havertz to work because he's on a lot, and Arteta put all his eggs in the barrel with him for sure. So
No, you're absolutely spot on. And just two other players I wanted to mention, right? I think it's time to talk a bit about Declan Rice right now, because in this stretch of games and even a bit before that, just the drop off that I've seen, it's definitely been noticeable. And especially having spent £100 million on this player, and this is like Arteta's marquee signing, and the expectations that are on his shoulders, right? Do you think, like, what is wrong with Declan Rice? Is it because he's just been overplayed? Is it because they're just the price tag and the pressure is now starting to hit him a bit? Like, what's going on there?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's had maybe one or two poor games. I think against West Ham he was really, really not good, but I think he was good against Liverpool. I think he was good against Palace. I don't necessarily think that. I think he's had an amazing season. I think that when your whole team's not playing well and there's so much pressure going at you as a CDM, when your number 8 that's with you, Kai Havertz, isn't working hard enough, it's these things are going to happen. He's going to have one or two games that aren't as world class. I think people are just so used to him having world class games that when he does have a little bit of a drop off, it's surprising to all. But no, I think he's been totally worth the money. I think he's been great.
That's fair enough. Next, now finally moving into Aston Villa, taking a look at their run of games. Scores to bring through Unai Emery and standout players both on a negative and positive side of things.
Yeah, they've been underwhelming recently. They kind of lost their really good run of form. I think I was really happy that we managed to beat them. I thought that when we played them, they were still quite good. So I was impressed that we were able to beat them. I would say standout players recently. Martinez was really good against Everton. What else was I going to say? Douglas Luiz had a couple good assists and a goal recently. Yeah, that's what I'd point out.
Now, I'd also point out John McGinn. I think just we mentioned this last time around. Like when I think of midfield generals, like proper captains, I look at him and he just screams leader. And I've been really impressed with him in the sense that, he's come from the Championship, he's come up to the Premier League, was played under Dean Smith and playing under Gerrard, and now he's playing under a totally different pedigree of manager in Emery, and he's been shining and he's been performing. And I think that should be, testament to how well and how good of a player that he is. And I think that's someone that should definitely be recognized. And Leon Bailey as well just keeps on performing as well. Just another consistently good player under Emery, especially in the stretch of games. But there is one negative that I want to talk about. Ollie Watkins. I think this is probably the first time I've ever said Ollie Watkins is on like the sort of a negative. 0 goals in 4 games. And, is this something that Villa should be concerned with, or is just a brief dry patch? In your opinion, what do you think, Jose?
No, I think it's a dry patch. He's had a couple assists in the past few games. I think he's going to be okay, and I think he's going to probably regain his form soon, along with the entire Villa team. I think they're just going through a little rough patch right now, kind of like Arsenal. I think they'll be back to their old ways soon enough.
That's fair enough. Next, going into Bournemouth, looking at their run of games. Only 2 losses against Tottenham and Liverpool, nothing to be too ashamed about. Scores and ratings for Andoni Iraola and Santos both on a negative and positive side of things.
Honestly, I'd probably give. I still think Iraola is doing a good job. I think I'd give him about an 8. I seriously think, like, watching I think this Bournemouth attack has just been so exciting. I mean, they're putting up. I feel like they've just been putting up at least double-digit shots every game, even when they're losing. And I think just this attacking 4 or 5 is just so. I feel like each one of those players, Clivert, they have Sinistera, obviously Solanke has been catching headlines.
Player of the month of December.
Yeah, that attack is seriously so exciting to watch, and I think that attack is carrying Bournemouth. I still think individually, if they can improve that defense in midfield, I think give Iraola who he wants, and Bournemouth can be a serious force, hopefully rivaling the likes of a Brighton sort of one day. But so if they can hold on to some of those attacking players, or at least find good replacements, then Bournemouth is a seriously exciting team.
No, I couldn't agree more. And just looking at the form that they've been in, which has been brilliant. I mean, they've been very impressive this season. Could the limit for Bournemouth this season be higher than we all potentially thought? Because going into the season, I think every single one of us in our relegation prediction said either that they were going to get relegated or they would either just survive. I don't think any of us expected Bournemouth to be playing the football and to be getting the results and to score the goals that they're scoring right now. It's been very, very impressive looking at Bournemouth this season so far. Or do you think that this run of form that they've been on is just, like I said earlier, like with Villa and Arsenal, it's a purple patch and at some point they'll be brought back to reality?
I mean, I feel like in order for them to finish maybe in a significantly higher place than we're hoping, which would be not just top half, but nearing European spots, I just feel like it would take other teams falling off a bit, right? In terms of just, they're not able to keep consistency. And if I'm evaluating Bournemouth versus a few of those other rivaling teams, and I'm thinking who's going to fall off, it's going to be Bournemouth. They don't have, I don't think they have the facilities to compete with Framey for like a European spot right now. Or just in and around that area. So I feel like, yes, they've already I think in terms of what they have done, they've already superseded our expectations. But to keep that run going, I don't think they'll have it. It's not necessarily a purple patch, but it's more like they're not going to be able to deal with whatever obstacles might come their way. I mean, what's his name has been out, so I feel like that's been a small obstacle.
Tyler Adams has been injured all season.
Adams, and then what's the defender that was linked to a lot of teams? I think number 5, the big guy.
Oh, is it Lloyd Kelly?
Lloyd Kelly. So he's a fantastic player too. So I guess that's a midfield and defensive obstacle in their way right now, and that's what's holding them back. So if they have a few more Lloyd Kelly, Tyler Adams disappearances, no shows, I know this squad might not be thick enough to compete with the top half.
Yes, and even in spite of that, just looking at how well they've been, and I want to throw this question to the entire panel, to everybody here. What does Bournemouth this season, what does this say about the manager and what he has done? And just, you look at where they were in the beginning of the season and you look at where they are now. What does this say about Andoni Iraola? How much credit should he get for the way they've been this season? I'll throw this out to the whole panel.
I mean, to me, it says that he really knows how to put an attack together, because that's really been what solved a lot of their problems for me. I mean, Solanke's 2 goals behind Haaland as top scorer. So I think that it's just really shown that this team had a lot of potential to be unlocked in their attack, and he's managed to unlock that. So good for him.
And Sirius, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Joe.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I remember it wasn't that long ago that people were doubting Iraola, and I was kind of upset because I just thought that he had accomplished some good things in Spain, and I was kind of excited for him to come. And it was just it's clear that it took some transition time, not that much, but a full strength, full potential Iraola side is a Premier League quality side. It just, I think full potential Iraola couldn't be a pretty top respectable manager in this league, but it's going to take trust, and it's still a transition.
No, yeah, definitely. And the last thing about Bournemouth before we move into Brentford, right? I've noticed that Philip Billing has been he's been dropped the last 2 games, and in the 2 most important matches that they've had in this run of games, and they've lost them both. Why do you think that is? I just found that quite strange, because he has the physicality, and in games against Tottenham and Liverpool, you'd assume that you'd want some physicality in that midfield, a bit of a presence, and Philip Billing has a bit of that presence, and just found it really strange why he was dropped to those games. Just why do you think that is? Or do you think it's just coincidence or tactical? So something that stood out to me, I want to throw out to the panel. What do you guys think?
I mean, I didn't know it, but I do think Iraola is I feel like the way they play can be technical, so maybe Iraola is feeling like Billing isn't maybe not technically good enough. But I mean, I had no idea that was happening, so I'm not really sure. I still think he's a valuable asset to have to any Premier League side. So
that's fair enough. Anyways, moving into Brentford, looking at they only played 3 matches, which thank goodness they got at least one at the weekend. Scores and ratings for Thomas Frank and standout players on a negative and positive side of things. Sirius, I'll throw this one to you.
Oh, you said Brentford, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, not really the best. I feel like their defense has been lacking, allowing a lot of goals. I think their left back again. I think I mentioned him before. He's been pretty good. If you look at their, sorry,
Rico Henry.
No. He's actually Rico Henry hasn't been.
Oh,
playing.
Godos.
Yeah. He's been pretty good. As of late, but I really think besides that, 2 center backs, everyone else hasn't been up to par. I think Pinnock has been kind of poor. But they got who back. He's back.
Yep.
Tony's back, and right when he comes back, he scores. They win. I think that shows everything you need to know. I think that with the addition of Ivan Toney, that also allows other players to flourish, because sometimes the attention's on him, get other players to score. Unfortunately, Neil Mopai scored last game.
He's been one of one of the standout positive series.
Yeah, I guess. Ben Mee also scoring. So yeah, with the addition of Ivan Toney, I expect the next couple of games to get way better for them.
And yeah, that actually leads us into our very next point. on Ivan Toney. And as Sirius says, Ivan Toney is back, and he marked his return with a brilliant free kick against Nottingham Forest, which coincidentally, the last goal that he scored before suspension, I think, was against Nottingham Forest. So a bit of a funny coincidence. And as we're just talking about Ivan Toney, is he the spark that Brentford need to kind of just kickstart their season again? Because they've been quite poor this season. So far.
Was that to me or?
Yes, or just anyone in general.
If he's going to be the kickstart to their season?
Do you think having Ivan Toney back, is he what Brentford needs in order for Brentford to just kickstart their season again?
Yeah, 100%. And you saw it with this game. It's kind of what I mentioned, because usually I do cover Brentford. It's what I mentioned before. They weren't scoring as much. You'd have, inconsistent players up top. Injuries here and there. And,
he's both injured.
Yeah, exactly. He was scoring in the beginning of the season a little bit, then he got injured. And with Ivan Toney now, they can really go on a run of games and really solidify their place in the Premier League. With Brentford, they're a good team, but if they really want to go anywhere, right now they're 14th, and I don't think that's really good enough for the team that they have. I think they could definitely be, 10 to 12 for sure. But right now, they're only they're 6 points away from the relegation zone, so they definitely want to get up there for sure. But I'm sure they will, and I'm sure they're going to do just fine.
And that leads me into the next question I was going to ask. And I'll throw this one out to everybody. Do you think Brentford, at this current moment in time, are potentially in danger of becoming relegation candidates? I'll throw this one out to everybody.
No, definitely not. I think their whole team is much too good for that, and with Ivan Toney coming in, I don't think they'll get anywhere close to the relegation zone.
That's right. And Jose, actually sticking with you, of course, we saw in Ivan Toney's return a debut for their new left back on loan, Sergio Reguilon. He left Manchester United, went back to Tottenham, and now he's at Brentford. And just, Jose, having seen him for the past 4 or 5 months, what do you think that he'll bring to Brentford? And do you think that he can displace Rico Henry, who's proven to be very, very reliable for Brentford over these past couple seasons?
Yeah, I think he might displace him. Whether he should is a different question. I don't think he's really that amazing. His crosses were never very good. I think his link-up play was okay, and he brought a lot of energy, which is good, but I don't think that his technical ability is good enough to really be a proper Premier League fullback. I think Rico Henry's better, but I think that Reguilon's reputation, having played for so many big clubs like Real Madrid, Man United, Tottenham even, I think that that will just displace Henry a bit, at least for the next few games this season.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with everything that you said, except for when you said big club side, Tottenham should just not be included.
Yeah, I figured you might have a problem with that.
Well, I think anyone in the world would have a problem with that. But anyways, Jose, actually sticking with you, moving into Brighton, actually looking at their past run of games, scores and ratings for Roberto De Zerbi and center players, both on a negative and positive side of things.
Yeah, undefeated, but I think that they'll be looking to do better against Palace, West Ham, and Wolves. They had a great result against Tottenham. I would definitely point out Joao Pedro for that performance, as well as Pervis Estupiñán for that performance and for his other performance, particularly against, I think it was Wolves. He was quite good. I think he was man of the match in that game. So I'd point those two out, but I think otherwise they need to score more goals. They're not doing so right now. I think, has Matoma been out? I think he's been out.
Yeah, he's been.
And of course, that coincides with them not scoring a lot of goals. So I think that the goal scoring is what they need to work on. They've been pretty good defensively through this run of games. So I think that once they get their goal scoring back together, they'll kick on as the Brighton side we've become used to.
Yeah, definitely. And I think two other players I think we should mention and I mentioned him last time, but yet again, Jack Hinchelwood, once again, just he's proving why we're seeing him in the starting 11 on a weekly basis. He's literally forces his way into Roberto De Zerbi's weekly team sheet, and another promising English right back to add to the millions of right backs England already has at their disposal. Whether he gets a call up, as long as Gareth Southgate is there, absolutely not. But And I think another player that he's sort of a bit of an unsung hero, Billy Gilmore. He's definitely proven to be a consistent starter in this Roberto De Zerbi midfield. And when I watch Billy Gilmore, especially when we saw him at Chelsea, but now he's at Brighton, he's literally fit this team absolutely superbly and perfectly in the system that Roberto De Zerbi plays. And I think that going forward, he's going to be an absolutely pivotal and crucial part of what Brighton do, especially in the midfield. But I think one negative that I think he's kind of gone under the radar, Evan Ferguson. Now, I think all of us remember talking about Evan Ferguson last season as being, another one of the hottest prospects coming from Brighton. He just hasn't really kicked on this season for whatever reason. Why do you guys think that's so?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. He was looking like seriously one of the next stars of the future last season and looking quite good. But this season he really hasn't done very much. I mean, it could kind of coincide with some of Brighton's better players like Enciso and Matoma being out, and him not having as good of service as he did last season. But I don't know. That's all I can think of, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anyways, next, moving into Burnley. Burnley. Andre. Looking at Burnley's last 4 matches, scores and ratings for Vincent Kompany and stand-up players on a negative and positive side of things.
Have not watched much Burnley, I'll be honest. They had a significant win recently though, wasn't it?
Against Fulham.
Fulham, right?
And that was in match week 18.
Yeah.
Shame on you, Andre. Shame on you.
I need help. But also I tried to come in, but then I got pulled away. But real quick, we didn't talk about the Ivan Toney free kick thing.
We actually did. We did talk about
I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, you didn't talk about him moving the ball, Davis. You didn't talk about him moving the ball.
Yeah, that I'm talking about. Him moving the ball.
Oh, okay. Well then, I thought you were just talking about the free kick in general. Okay.
No, I'm saying, what do you guys think of that? I don't know. I've been flip flopping. I don't know what to think.
Well, I personally love it, especially if you played for my team. I would love a man who does that and gets away with it. It's like a Ramos type of thing to do. But obviously, if it was against me, I'd be livid.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I also think that this is kind of his own character trope, Ivan Toney. He definitely gives off the vibes that he's just someone who just literally does not care whatsoever. He's going to play the way, he's going to play. He's going to, carry the swagger that he has always carried whenever he's been on that pitch. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. I did find that quite interesting, though. So, Andre, you do make a good point. But anyways, getting back to...
Sorry. One more thing. We didn't talk about Nuno Tavares at all for Arsenal.
We'll save that for the Nottingham Forest section, because remember, he's on...
Okay.
Anyways, getting back to Burnley, which we, for whatever reason, just keep on trailing away from. Andre, scores and ratings for Vincent Kompany and stand-up players on a negative and positive side of things.
Well, the reason is because I haven't watched much Burnley. No, I mean, I feel like it was. I mean, I don't know what to say. I need help.
That's fair enough. Trust me, not a lot of people are going to be watching Burnley. With all due respect to all the Burnley supporters and all of our Burnley subscribers and followers out there. Listen, Jose has said this so many times this season, just countless numbers of times. The same old story with Kompany. It just seems like he's really trying to play the system of football that he wants to, and it just doesn't seem like he's working. I mean, Lyle Foster and Josh Brownhill for me are arguably maybe the only two that can come away with any sort of positive credit whatsoever. Maybe Zeki Amondi, maybe, but that's about it for me. Maybe Sanderberg, that's about it. But one thing I did notice, which was kind of interesting.
He was sent off, Sanderberg, as well.
One thing that I did notice that was kind of interesting, because Company's been trying like a million different formations. He was doing 4-3-3, then he's gone to like a 3-5-2. But now he's gone back to the typical Burnley that we all knew under Sean Dyche. Back to 4-4-2. I found that really interesting. Like, why do you lot think that's so? I'll just throw that to everyone. Serious, what are your thoughts on that?
Why they do 4-4-2?
Why do you think Company just switched to a 4-4-2 after, because he's known for trying to play this open, expansive style of football. He played a 4-3-3 in the championship. He tried that in the beginning, it didn't work. Then he went to 3-5-2, it didn't work. And now he's just been playing just a flat 4-4-2, like we used to see always under Sean Dyche. Why do you think that's so? I just found that kind of interesting.
Yeah, there could be two reasons. Maybe, he knew that Sean Dyche was successful doing that, and maybe he was trying to replicate it. But another thing would be because they're, needing more goals, I guess, adding a second striker. But yeah, maybe he had a chat or a shag with Sean Dyche, and then maybe they decided there that they
probably the latter, I think.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyways, next into Chelsea. They are playing in the as we are recording this, they are playing in the Carabao Cup. But Jose did tell me that they are 4-0 up against Middlesbrough. So, I think it's safe to say that they're going to the final. But looking at Chelsea's run of games in the Premier League, scores and ratings from Mauricio Pochettino and standout players on the positive and negative side of things. Jose, I'll just throw this one to you.
Okay. I mean, they've put some form together recently. Have to talk about Cole Palmer. He's been amazing, especially in that Luton game. He was fantastic. Noni Madueke has put some form together recently. Even Mudryk, who I think he got injured recently, but he was looking good right before he got injured. And then recently also Disasi's looked good, and I think that someone said Disasi's turning into prime Cafu. I definitely would agree with that. It's looking quite good. Obviously Sterling's been terrible. Nothing really to report there. But good stuff in Chelsea recently. Actually, I'd probably give them like a B+.
Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised, Jose, at how unbelievably generous, because I think just yes, they've gotten their 3 wins out of 4.
I mean, they've been against like terrible teams, but
yeah,
at least
but when I dissect the performances and actually break it down, I think there is a lot of things that you mentioned. I think, Thiago Silva, everybody loves Thiago Silva. I don't know anyone who just doesn't like this guy, honestly. He's just, old age is catching up to him. Definitely seeing more errors. He's slowing down. And it's sorry. He's 39 years of age, and he's slowing down a bit. I think age is catching up to him, but nothing against Thiago Silva, but that's something I'm really noticing. And also, before this cup semifinal against Middlesbrough, I'd argue to say that Disasi was kind of a liability. Just in looking at some of the matches that I was seeing. Conor Gallagher, once again, and everyone was telling me for gosh knows how long, Chelsea have missed Gallagher. Chelsea need Gallagher in the team. He's great as a number 10. In this run of games, I've not seen Gallagher do sod all really. And that's kind of it. And into the questions that I think need to be talked about. I'll throw this one to the whole panel. I think we all need to talk about Enzo Fernandez because he was, as we know, he was brought in for a big fee, and he just has this habit of just going missing for whatever reason. Just what's wrong with Enzo? I'll just throw this one out to everyone.
I mean, I think people just got too excited about him after the World Cup. Like, they saw him score, 1 or 2 beautiful goals in the World Cup. I don't think that's who he is. I think he's a very tenacious player, very good on the ball, but not someone who's going to create a goal out of nothing, and not someone who's going to get a lot of assists. I think he's a defensive player, and I think he's good in a 2, in a midfield 2. But I just think people are expecting the wrong things from him. And also, if they are expecting those things, how can you expect those things from someone who's playing with an attack that's full of Mudryk and Madueke and players who have been pretty terrible up until
And Ambrosia
very
and
recently.
Chelsea.
Yeah, and Broja, especially him as well. Yeah.
No, I do think you make a fair point, but I also think to a certain extent, you won a World Cup, you've come in for this big feat, and I think there's a certain level of expectation that should be on you, and I just think some of the performances that I've seen where he's just vanished and disappeared, I just if I were a Chelsea supporter, I would not find it acceptable. Some of these performances, and I include Caicedo in there as well. Chelsea spent a combined 200 and something million on the pair of them, which I still very well believe in. In a few years' time, that could be one of the best midfield duos in the league. Potentially, keyword potentially, before anyone clips that. But whether it works or not, that's going to be up to Poch. Which, speaking of Poch, more questions, of course, to be asked about his tactics. I think one thing that I find really interesting, right, guys, is that also, again, another question to throw out to everyone, right? He had a left back in Eden Matson, right? And this is during the time with Ben Chilwell and Cucurella were out injured. But for whatever reason, he has this addiction to playing Levi Colwill at left back. Why do you lot think that is? Because I don't understand that from a neutral perspective.
I don't know. I don't think he fancied Matson. I think when he played Matson, he wasn't even playing him as a left back. I think he was playing him up front, like not up front, but like as a winger, if I'm not mistaken. Like I think the last time he played Matson before he left was as a right midfielder, if I'm not mistaken, or left midfielder, something like that. So I think he just didn't really fancy Matson as a fullback. I don't think he thought he was defensive enough. I think he just thinks he wanted to go forward. And I think Poch prefers more defensive fullbacks, I guess, for this Chelsea team.
That's enough. This next, and I think also Cole Palmer. There has been a little drop off in the form that we've seen. Serious, in your opinion, do you think that there's just a bit too much pressure on Cole Palmer to constantly carry and bail Chelsea out every single match?
I wouldn't say there's a drop off. I mean, he scored in his. I think he scored.
Not a tremendous drop off. Just I'd say a slight drop off.
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't say that there is.
I don't think there really is. I mean, he scored against Fulham. He scored 2 against Luton Town, and that was like 2 games after Davis. So I don't know where the drop off is, but I'd say yeah, no, I don't really see a drop off. I mean, they just played, by the way. Their game just ended now, and he scored 2 goals.
Yes.
So
phenomenal.
So I don't know what they
phenomenal against Middlesbrough, which remembering in the first match that whole Chelsea side just went completely missing. So I don't think there's a whole lot of motivation other than being in a cup final for.
But I would agree with you, Davai, that there is definitely too much pressure on him because I think he's the only Chelsea attacker that we expect to get a goal or assist every match.
I think Madueke, is that how you say it? I don't know. He's been good. He's been good.
And last thing with Chelsea, Georgi Petrovic, since Robert Sanchez has been injured. Nice. Since Robert Sanchez has come in or has been injured, Georgi Petrovic has come in as just taking his place as the interim number 1. And honestly, I've seen levels when I've seen the games that Sanchez has played and Petrovic has played. Do you think Robert Sanchez is going to have to fight his way back to win that number 1 spot back when he returns to full fitness?
Yeah, I think we could see a De Gea Henderson type of situation where the established keeper misses a few matches and then the less known goalkeeper comes in and plays well. So I think it could be interesting. We could see them kind of fight it out, and that usually means that one of them will make a mistake. So it sounds good to me. So I think that we'll see them compete for that spot in the coming days.
Fair enough. Next, Crystal Palace, and taking a look at Crystal Palace in this run of games. It has not been great. It has not been great whatsoever. Absolutely useless. Just like Crystal Palace's attack. Utterly shambolic. Looking at Crystal Palace, right? Scores and ratings for Roy Hodgson and standout players from a negative and positive side of things. Sirius, I'll throw that one to you.
Literally, Davis, I have no idea what you heard. All I kept hearing was Masha Su in my ear. So can you repeat that?
No problems whatsoever. Scores and ratings for Roy Hodgson and standout players on a positive and negative side of things.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Roy Hodgson has been in the leagues for a long time. With Crystal Palace, it's like you're always gonna get a mid-table result, I guess. I mean, we absolutely shat on them multiple times. They did beat Brentford. Chelsea is always a hard Chelsea, yeah. But they also tied at Brighton, which I think is not a horrible result. But I think Olise has been great again this season. I think him and Esse are really just their two best players. I think Anderson has been good again. I just I don't know what they need to do to maybe reach levels like I actually watched Matete. Mateta, is that how you say it?
Yes.
And I thought he was okay at holding up the ball. I think he was, he's decent, but I just think that if they really want to do something, they're gonna have to find a striker. And also Jordan Ayew at left wing makes me want to kill myself multiple times.
I can't lie. I couldn't agree more with the striker issues between Mateta and Edouard. I've been saying it for ages. I've been telling Mana about both of them. Palace need an upgrade from both of them, and I think this ship is going to just keep on sinking with Roy Hodgson. And do you think Crystal Palace are just slowly but surely becoming a relegation candidate? Andre, I'll throw this one out to you. What do you think? And Crystal Palace's attack this season gone missing. What do the rest of you think?
I think they'll be all right. I think they have enough solid players like Olise and Eze that Sirius pointed out that are good enough to keep them away from the relegation zone. But they're getting pretty close right now, I have to say. I just think that the bottom three are so bad that I don't think anyone's going to get that far down.
And talking about Roy Hodgson, how much longer do you think he has in this job? Do you think he's inevitably going to get sacked?
I think they might give him until the end of the season and then bring in a younger man.
And who do you think is the manager to replace him in the long term?
Well, that's tough. I don't know. I don't have. There aren't many people available right now.
Graham Potter was at the match.
Graham Potter could be good, yeah.
And you know what's funny? I was saying when Roy Hodgson, the season that he left Palace before Patrick Vieira took over and before he was announced as manager. You want to know what's something funny? When we were talking about potential replacement for Roy Hodgson, I mentioned Graham Potter well back then and the fact how he's linked into the job and seems like the current favorite to take over. Again, another early day by prediction. Someone could say it's a masterclass. Anyway,
it's the first time as well.
No, not the first time. Moving into Everton, and just like Brennan Johnson, and unlike Brennan Johnson, Andre has finally shown up. And Andre, I'm going to throw this over to you.
I'm here for the rest of the episode. We're done now. We put it up. So
cheers, mate. Looking at the past run of games for Everton, scores and ratings for Sean Dyche and stand-up players on a negative and positive side of things.
Honestly, I think Everton have been pretty fantastic. I think there's a lot. I feel there's a lot they can carry over to the rest of the season.
0 wins and 3 losses out of 4.
Oh, really? Am I going off 2 weeks ago then? When I watched,
I think you are going off 2 weeks ago.
Okay, sorry. Well, I know Calvert-Lewin's been a bit of a ghost, hasn't he?
No, you're not wrong. You know what? I'll just take Everton. Looking at Everton, honestly, just once again pulling this team out of a sinking ship once again. Anyways, going into Everton, I think arguably two of their only contributing attackers, Jack Harrison, Dwight McNeil, two of the only attackers I'd say can keep their heads held high. Other than that, there's been nobody else. Jared Branthwaite looks like a very promising young prospect at center back. There have been a number of links, actually, to both Manchester United and Real Madrid, to the pair of them.
People are putting him for PFA Young Player of the Year, like as a nominee. Like people think he's been that great. Everton fans are swearing by him.
From the matches that I've seen, he definitely looks like a decent center back. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't mind sending Lindelof or Maguire the other way to get Branthwaite. He just received a brand new contract as well. Amadou Onana as well. And somehow, guess who's risen from the dead? Andre Gomez, a name which I've not heard in years. And he has somehow just risen from the dead, from the underground. And he has found himself back in the starting 11 in 2024. And I don't know. I didn't even know he existed until now. But there are a couple things we need to talk about Everton. First, a second set of FFP charges being put against Everton. And assuming another deduction is going to happen, does this make Everton more and more, a likely candidate for relegation? I'll throw this out to everyone.
I mean, yeah, it makes them more likely, but I still think that they're going to get out of it again, to be honest. Like, it takes, three wins? Like, say they get another 10-point deduction, they're on, 7 points. They'll probably, I think the bottom team's max points are 16. That's 3 wins, and they're already out of that. So I think that they'll still make it out even if they get deducted 10 points again, to be honest. I think that will speak on how impressive a job Sean Dyche has actually done in this Everton team, despite being deducted points twice to still make it out of the league alive.
I mean,
What, Andre?
No, I was just saying, I mean, that even with a points deduction, I mean, that team is far too good for the championship. They're ready to grind out results in the Prem. I feel like if there anything their way, I would not bet on them to get relegated. There's just that'd be a huge shock. It would take a seriously just a catastrophe, just a horrible run of form for that to happen. That would be losing the locker room, I think, for them to be in the relegation zone, which I don't think Sean Dyche could even let happen. I just think he's too good of a manager for that, and he's still fresh at the job.
Yeah, and I definitely, Sirius would be saying this all the time. He literally has said the same thing. That team is way too good to go down, and I agree. That team should not be getting relegated whatsoever. And how it's even anywhere near the relegation zone for the past 2 seasons has been beyond me. And I think the last point, talking about Everton, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, is it just time to move on? Is it time to move on from Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a few seasons now where he hasn't really turned up for them at all. Very unreliable, injured a lot. I think it's a dangerous player to keep looking to.
Right off. Next, Fulham. Looking at Fulham and their past run of games. Scores and ratings for Marco Silva and standout players on the negative and positive side of things. Sears, I'll throw this one out to you.
I'm throwing it back to Joe.
Okay.
I'm sure he'd fancy that.
I mean, it's been kind of up and down, which is usually the case with Fulham. Definitely just becoming your average mid-table Premier League side. I think they were good against Arsenal. I'm trying to remember who it was.
They won against Arsenal. So
I think it was Tom. No, it was Tom Kearney, who I think has been fairly good recently. A lot of people have been saying Tom Kearney on the ball is one of the Premier League's best.
Jimenez has been scoring goals as well. And Arsenal legends Willian and Alex Iwobi both done for Arsenal, which is nice. And they beat Arsenal. So Sears, you can sit there and hold that L. And you know what? Yes, they've lost 3 and 4, but I'd say they haven't really have had the easiest matches. Looking at, they're playing a red hot Bournemouth right now. Yes, Chelsea are awful, but then again, just at the end of the day, it is still Chelsea at the end of the day, and they only lost 1-0, which is bad. Beating Arsenal, the alleged title contenders. I think that says a statement. Raul Jimenez back amongst the goals as well, which is always a good thing. Next, moving into Liverpool, and they are sitting top of the league right now. Andre, looking at their past run of games, their past 4 matches, 1 draw, 3 wins. Scores and ratings for Jurgen Klopp, stand up players on a negative and positive side of things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the draw came against Arsenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's top 6 rival. That's fine. I still think they've been pretty brilliant. I feel like some of the guys we were looking to earlier in the season have fallen off a bit. Szoboszlai comes to mind. But I feel like, yeah, yeah, but I still feel like they're still having guys step up and carry this Liverpool form. That Jurgen Klopp magic, I feel like is going to happen this season. I feel like it's a tight knit squad, but yeah, goals galore in their past few matches. I think that'll carry forward. They're undefeated without Salah, so maybe his AFCON absence won't be a huge huge thing to get around like we thought it would. So let's see. I think if they can carry forward and keep getting as many shots off as they are without Salah, then yeah, I think we might be in for Liverpool City title run again. I don't know.
I think huge props have to go to Diogo Jota. Honestly, he is just what a signing he was for £40 million, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. Every time he's come in, he's always scoring goals, always, or just causing havoc. He can play across some front three on the left, on the right. He can play up front. He's always causing problems. And I think in this period of time, and Joe Gomez as well deserves a huge shout as well, proving the revival of Joe Gomez has been actually unbelievable. Connor Bradley brought up from the youth team as well to help cover Trent in at right back since he's been injured. And this Liverpool team just looks like it's kicking on, and eventually Trent and Robbo will return, and that will only make Liverpool stronger. Next, looking at Luton and their past run of games. For me, just look, they've improved. It's been slightly better, but I'd say other than Alfie Doty and Ross Barkley, who, by the way, he's been absolutely outstanding all season. For Luton, Ross Barkley, yes, that name Ross Barkley, I know that's going to definitely ring some bells, cause some nostalgia from, I don't know, like 7 years ago. But other than Ross Barkley and Alfie Doty, just has not really been anything really. Even Carlton Morris has just, for whatever reason, gone missing. Andros Towns has been all right. Elijah Adebayo has been okay. I think they have started turning a corner slowly but surely. Maybe they could just stay above, but I'm severely doubting that.
I mean, where are they in the table right now? Where do they sit?
18th, 116 points, 1 point below Everton. I mean, if Everton get points deducted again, I think that they really need to make the most of that. That could be a big boost for them.
Yeah,
it feels like every week that I just check in on it. It feels like they're finding goals. Like they're getting better at finding goals. When they first entered the league, they were struggling, but I feel like now they're finding goals. If they can just lock it up defensively and hopefully just maintain secure, still find a way to get goals. I don't know. Maybe they could try to stay up, but it does feel a bit inevitable that they go down.
Yeah, and I also agree with that, Andre. Next, Manchester City. Serious, over to you. Looking at these past 3 games that they played, they won all 3 games. Surprise, surprise. Scores and ratings for Pep Guardiola and stand-up players on a negative impact.
Yeah, a close one against Newcastle. Right at the end. I mean, what can you say? It's KDB. Wow.
He's back.
Yep. What an assist. Goal as well. Now that they have him, I don't know. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to beat them. That's for sure. They also have Rodri, so yeah, it's gonna be tough. Bernardo Silva has been scoring recently. Julian Alvarez has been scoring recently. I mean, when you have Julian Alvarez as a he plays with Holland too, but he can also play striker. So when you have him as like your backup, even though he sometimes plays with Holland, like you're pretty much set because he's a great player as well. It just shows that they have 3 wins, 3 games, no Holland. I mean, that's just all you have to say. That's just literally it. They're just so good. There's really nothing else to say.
I feel like
No, you're 100% right, and you're 100% right, Sears. This is Manchester City in a T. This is the benchmark, which I'd say, bar Real Madrid, every single club in European football should be looking at. Looking at the quality that Man City have, bar Real Madrid, they are the only team that I will exempt from this, and I'm sure Jose will agree with that. I'd say bar them. I think looking at Manchester City, they're able to have Julian Alvarez as a backup striker option. And looking at the kids in the academy, Oscar Bob, this kid is actually cementing himself a place in the verse. He made a brilliant performance against Newcastle off the bench, scoring a brilliant goal as well. So definitely props to him. I'd say the only 2 negatives for me, Kyle Walker's slowing down, and it's definitely noticeable. And maybe at some point, Pep's going to have to start thinking about moving on. And Josko Vardio, I know Sears has mentioned him hundreds of times. I've been struggling. And he's not a left back. I just don't, for whatever reason, Pep is going to be stubborn as usual and will continue to play him at left back. Whether that will eventually work or not, who knows? All right, Jose, it's time. It's time for our monthly check-in, Manchester United, looking at our run of games. Again, such amazing performances. Great performances from us. Scores and ratings for Eric Ten Hag and Santa Claus on a negative and positive side of things. What are we saying for us this month, Jose?
Yeah, we've been trash again. We played well against Villa, and even then, we really only played well and like
Villa threw that game away. Just to be
like the second half. Yeah, they totally threw the game away. Played terrible against Forest. It looks like Rashford may be starting to get into goal-scoring positions, which is good. Højlund's actually been fairly good the past 2 games, despite not really being given any actual assists yet. He still has
finally 2 goals, and
still has only been assisted by rival players, not our own players, which speaks to how creative Rashford and Anthony are, and Garnacho. A lot of people have been very happy with Garnacho. I really am not happy with Garnacho at all. I don't think he's been very good at all recently.
I agree. Jose, I couldn't agree more. I actually agree with that. Look, I think this kid has a lot of potential, but I'm so sick and tired, and I'm going to say this right now, so the entire world and whoever's watching near me, I am sick and tired of all the Cristiano Ronaldo fanboys of adopting Garnacho as their surrogate child. He is not young Cristiano Ronaldo. Those two are levels apart from each other, all right? So just stop with the comparisons, please. It hurts me because when I think of young Cristiano Ronaldo, that is an entirely different being and animal. When I think of Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime years at Manchester United, do not put that and Garnacho in the same conversation. Anyways, back to what you were saying. Who else has been any other bright lights?
I'd also shout out Kobbie Mainoo. I think he looks good. I think if we get a top class midfielder next to him, hopefully Casemiro can do the job, but we'll see if he's the same player he was last season when he comes back. Otherwise, maybe Wan-Bissaka has had 1 or 2 good games recently, especially against Spurs. I thought he was quite good at left back for us for some reason. I don't know why he played left back, but
yeah, I wonder that too. I wonder who put him at left back. I wonder whose decision it was to put him at left back.
Well, thankfully, Deva is not part of Ineos because Ineos are actually backing Ten Hag, which I can appreciate.
At the end of the day, Jose, I don't see Ten Hag lasting. He may make it to the end of the season, and then they're gonna want to find someone of their own style.
Well, what I will say is I'll take Mourinho back.
No. I look, I love Jose and what he's done in football, but his time at top European clubs is done for me. But I think two other names that we missed out for positives. one of our best players this whole season, Diogo Dalot. Again,
Absolutely
one
not.
of our only shining
No,
lights.
I'm not having that.
Really?
Dalot's been
Did you see him against the
horrendous.
Tottenham match? He was one of our only good players in that match.
No. You
He's literally one of our
games every
only
now and then.
outlets that puts balls in the box
Have you
for
seen
our
him-
striker.
Have you seen him cross? Have you seen him cross?
He's our only fullback that can cross.
He can't. No, he can't. No, he
You
cannot.
must be watching it.
I'd rather have Wan-Bissaka put a ball into the box than Dalot.
Hey, no, I'm not having that. But other than Dalot, shout out to Varane, of course. He's back, and he's taken the starting spot. He's back where he should be, and not on the bench for Maguire and Evans. He's back where he should be playing, which is playing every single week when he's fit. None of this BS of the whole Evans and Maguire and Lindelof inverted left back and all of that. And there are many negatives, of course. It's Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Anthony, Andre Onana. That was literally his performance at AFCON. I wish he could have just stayed longer, but you know what? Bayern might not even get a single match.
Actually, Cameroon qualified today, so he's staying.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, Onana was replaced by a French goal.
Oh yeah, he got dropped.
by a Cameroonian goalkeeper who's from the French third division.
He got dropped. He got dropped. Like the tension between him and Eto, it's kind of peak right now. But anyways, going into Manchester United, definitely many important things to discuss. Omar Barada, I think that's the biggest thing. I think this is the best signing Manchester United have made in the past decade. He will be the new CEO of Manchester United until when the Ineos purchase has been ratified by the Premier League. Then the interim CEO and Patrick Stewart will step down and he will take his place. Omar Barada, coming in from Manchester City, was a COO at Manchester City. He worked alongside the likes of Tiki. I can't pronounce the last name for my life. And Ferran Serrano as well, along with Pep. Formerly Manchester City. Jose, what are your thoughts on this appointment? And what does it say about Radcliffe and the intent of Ineos that they're trying to send out to the rest of the footballing world, but more importantly, the Man United fans?
I mean, I was really excited by this. For us to take someone off City, I think is really good. Obviously, City have looked a very well-oiled operation for the past few years, but for their charges and for a City guy to leave for United speaks to the fact that there may be some truth in those charges, because it looks to me like he might have been trying to get out of an organization that's going to be potentially relegated soon. So I'm hoping that that's what that means for City, and I'm hoping that for us it means we've got someone who's been a part of a really well-oiled operation and actually knows how to find good talent. And I believe he was the CFO, Chief Football Officer at the club. So I think that he was like their director of football, if you could say that. Yeah.
And the one thing that I definitely admire about the guy is that, he was also at Barcelona doing this. He came to Man City in 2011. He's been there for years. And he has a very good balance and sense of the commercial side and the footballing side of things. And for years, our issue was we put more emphasis into commercial side than footballing side. But what we need is a balance. He needs a balance of both. And, there's not going to be any more of these ridiculous big contracts, paying stupid transfer fees, getting bent over to sign players and having to pay like double the price. No, that's not going to happen anymore. That will not happen anymore. It will not happen under the CEO. And I think if he brings the likes of Dan Ashworth from Newcastle and Paul Mitchell as well, I think Man United could, in a couple years' time, could genuinely be cooking with that board and footballing directors with that group. Honestly, I think Man United could be in a very, very good place. But anyways, moving in to Newcastle. Now, it has not been good for them. It has not been good for them whatsoever. Andre, looking at their past run of games, they've lost 4 out of 4 games. Scores and ratings for Eddie Howe and stand-up players on a negative and positive side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's kind of sad. I mean, I'm already seeing, little murmurings about Eddie Howe being replaced at that job, which is a little sad. I feel, yeah, they're not in good form. I feel like Isak is one of the few ones that can hold his head up high. I feel like
Gordon as well.
Gordon in some games too. I think we can give Eddie Howe like a 4 or 5. This is not a good. It's not been a good time for him. I feel like it was stupid initially when I kind of saw like little memes about Eddie Howe maybe being out of the job. But you do look at some of those stats, and Newcastle are outperforming their XG, I think, from what I've seen, and their XG has not been very high, which is concerning. That seems to be a system that's just a system issue. So he's got his work cut out for him. I don't know. I think, Isak stands out to me. Maybe Gordon. Maybe Botman. I don't know. Livermento in some games. I still feel like he's been consistent enough.
One of the harder sparks. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think there should be a huge talking point on Bruno Guimaraes. Just the expectations and what he is to this Newcastle side, and he's not been performing.
He looks like he's psychologically breaking down on the pitch. He just doesn't even play with a smile anymore.
It's a problem. I think it's a huge problem for Newcastle. If he's capitulating as well as Joe Linton's thighs every other match because he's becoming increasingly injury prone, then I do believe that there is definitely an issue for Newcastle. And with the whole Eddie Howe thing, from a neutral perspective, I think I find it sad that he's becoming more under pressure. But let's be honest here. Last season, Newcastle overperformed. No one would have thought in their wildest dreams that they were going to get Champions League football. They achieved Champions League football. They had a very difficult group, and they got a huge reality check of just where they are. That they're not a Champions League side. They're not. And you know what? Potential early day of our prediction: if Villa finish in the top 4, maybe, just maybe, they might even face a similar rate to Newcastle. If they definitely don't, get rid of the players who are mid-table and not good enough and bring in top quality players. If they don't do that, and if they get Champions League football, maybe the same thing could happen. I don't know. Potential early day of our prediction. I could be wrong.
Or they finish third and Unai carries them to Europa where he's comfortable.
Very true, very true. And yeah, I'm saying potential early day of our prediction because I know if this doesn't go the way I'm hoping it does, or the way I hope it's going to go as planned, I know Jose will be the first one to be cooking me in the chat. So I'm hoping this goes right for me. But anyways, well, someone who on the contrary to Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Steve Cooper sacked. Andre, your boy, Nuno Espirito Santo.
Not my boy.
Nuno, best Tottenham manager of all time, has come in to replace him, better than Ange Pochettino. Looking at their past run of games, Jose, scores and ratings for, we'll say for Nuno, because Steve Cooper had one match. Scores and ratings for Nuno Espirito Santo and Santa players, both on a negative and positive side of things.
Yeah, it's looking better. Played well against us. Played well against Newcastle.
Anyone could play well against us.
Yeah, that's true. The loss to Bournemouth and Brentford were fairly disappointing. Well, there's definitely one standout player on my mind. I'm glad you picked me for this one. It's Nuno Tavares, I'd have to say.
Great.
Yeah, making headlines for all the
wrong reasons.
Recently. Yeah, once you see the videos, I guess you never go back. So
yeah, if Nuno Tavares, if you know, you know that's what we'll say. The
videos are from like 2021, so they've actually been out for like 3 years now.
Hey, listen. Message from us at Premier League Prime Time with Nuno Tavares. With the videos, if you know, you know. If you haven't seen it, if you really want to, I would not advise. Well, that's up to you.
Anywho, pointing out actual players who've been good. Chris Wood has been good. Scored a hat trick in one of the recent games.
He's on fire. He is
Chris Wood. Chris Wood, Danilo have both been good.
Anthony Alanga, Morgan Gibbs-White again.
Yeah, wait. Let's talk about really quick. Anthony Alenga kissing that badge as he was it against us? He did that.
Yeah, it was. And it's funny because like all the Man United fans got really triggered, and when Alanga got sold, and when we got 50 million pounds for him, everyone was saying he needed to go, he needed to be sold.
Yeah.
You said it, I said it. You and I both said he needed to be moved on. We got 50 million pounds for Alanga. Maybe we could have got a little more, but guess what? 50 million pounds, that's still decent money for him. And he wanted to stay, but he was moved on. And that match was personal for him. And he got his revenge for us, got the W, and all the Man United fans are crying. And all I'm going to say is shut up and stop crying. This is a player that wasn't good enough. And everyone's saying, oh, no, it should be Alanga, not Anthony. Two wrongs. Two players that aren't good enough don't make a right. And I'm going to say that right now. Neither of them should be at my football club. Neither of them are good enough to go forward. Simple as. But you know what? Good for Alanga. I'm glad he's doing well at Forest, and I hope that he continues to play well. But I think we need to talk about Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, how outstanding has he been for like most of this season?
Yeah, he's been great. It reminds me a bit of like when Bruno first came in for us. I think he's just really has that impact. He's carried his team to the best of his ability. He played really well against us, although he really frustrated me. He definitely should have been sent off. But nevertheless, he played really well, scored the goal.
Serious, what do you think?
I've been really impressed with him.
Serious, what do you think? How good is Morgan Gibbs-White? How important is he to the Nottingham Forest side?
Yeah, he's definitely their main player. He also played under their new manager, right? Too, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely the difference.
Yeah, so that's obviously gonna help him. He's been great. He always performs great against us. Whenever I watch him, I'm really impressed. He's also a leader as well. Talks on the pitch. Really helps his team, and overall, he's a great player. I'd expect him maybe to get on the England roster. We'll see. Maybe.
I mean, Henderson is, he's back in Europe now, so I'm not too sure. I'm not expecting a whole lot from my manager to actually be, somewhat competent in making team sheets for us. I'm not gonna lie.
For you as an Englishman,
I'd say the only negative in this whole thing, I think Matt Turner's been very shaky. That performance against Manchester United, he kept gifting out how many opportunities for Man United. He was spilling the ball all over the place, literally all over the place. And how we only scored one goal from that, it's shocking, honestly. But looking at how much credit or how much of this should be in testament to the job that Nuno has done straight away coming in. Andre, I'll go over to you because I know how much you love Nuno. And how much credit would you give Nuno for this?
I mean, I think he definitely deserves credit for that Gibbs-White super resurgence. He's young too. He's like 23 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was way older when he was at Wolves, and then I found out he was really young. No, I think Nuno knows the league well. He's going to bring much needed stability to Forest. I mean, I just felt like it was a bit hectic. I mean, I still remember them bringing all those players. They have so many players, and I don't really know how that puzzle is going to fit together. But Nuno, knowing the league so well, could piece it all together in a way that's nice. I feel like there are teams worse than them, so maybe they can survive.
And the last thing about Forest also, not only were Everton were charged by FFP, but Forest were as well. And how much of an effect will this take or have on Nottingham Forest? I'll throw this one out to everyone. Serious, what do you think? I'll just start with you.
It just kind of depends what happens. Are they going to do the minus 10 points again? Do we know?
I'm not sure. One could maybe assume so. I don't know for certain.
Yeah, that's going to definitely be a big blow. But, they've been doing well. I'm shocked that Man City hasn't had any of them. That's all I can say.
Man City and Chelsea won't get charged. That will never happen. that would be literally to the detriment of the league. So yeah, that they're not going to get charged. I severely doubt Man City will get charged.
Well,
And-
they've been charged.
Well, I severely doubt they'll be found guilty because assuming Man City are found, like think about it in this way: if Man City are found guilty, right, and all their titles are stripped, right? I mean, I guess you could say, how badly would that reflect on the Premier League and also just not necessarily for the world of football, but I mean just for the Premier League in general. If they were to get relegated, to lose a side like Man City, to not have them in the Premier League, and the amount of
Serie A did it with Juve.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
That's fair enough. But it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing turns out. Next,
Why?
Yes.
It's with the FA, right? That they're
Yes.
doing this with.
Mhm.
I mean, why are they tackling everyone now? I mean, that's why City probably got. I mean, all this stuff. I mean, even we have a thing. I think it's with Defoe or something from 2008. So why is it all happening?
Oh yeah, I've
now?
seen that.
Do they have new some new guy in there that wants to clean it up?
I don't know.
Why is it all happening?
I know. I find
right
that
now?
really interesting as well. I don't
I
understand.
mean,
why.
it's just
Like where have they
it feels
been for the
stupid.
past 20 years?
Exactly. Where's all this been? Why now? And why is City the most obvious blah blah blah? Like, come on, huge shining floodlight on them. Like that seems we're just procrastinating attacking them instead we're going after a second Everton. It's just like crazy.
That's fair enough. Moving quickly into Sheffield United, looking there at their past run of games, and honestly, it looked slightly better. But I think a few decent standouts. James McAtee, new signing Ben Brenton Diaz actually scoring and marking a goal on his debut, so half decent for him. Ollie McBurney's been okay, and Cameron Archer's been mediocre, and Ryan Brewster got sent off in one of the most blatantly obvious red card challenges that I've ever seen. I watched that match against West Ham, and I don't know what went through his mind to go through the back of Emerson Palmieri in the way he did. I don't know what he was thinking or what he was doing, but that was beyond shocking. But Chris Fathers come in, they've looked slightly improved. We're showing a little more fight, but I still think that they're doomed to go down. Next, Andre, it's your turn. It's your time. Your check-in. Tottenham Hotspur, looking at their past 4 games. Scores and ratings for Hey Mate and Postecoglou and stand-up players on the negative and positive side of things.
Yeah, probably give him a 7. I'd say I feel like the positives. I feel like Richarlison, I guess, what is it? 5 goals in 6 games or something. He's looking better on form against United. I like that he was getting involved in some build-up
He's
play.
in very good form right now with Richarlison.
Yeah, that's why I still feel like his involvement in build-up play was lacking a bit. But against United, he was quite good. I liked a lot of his movement.
He's phenomenal against us. He played very well.
Yeah. I'd still say Brendan Johnson's getting a lot of heat, but truly,
he was dreadful against us. He was awful.
That's why I feel like he's losing some confidence, and his final touch, honestly, I think has gotten worse since he arrived at Tottenham, which is a bit concerning. I feel like the kid just needs
£45 million was spent on him. And look, I think he's one for the future, and I think he will improve in time. But £45 million for Brendan Johnson, I think you maybe could have spent that on someone else with a little more pedigree than that.
I think he's a great player, and I honestly don't think we're gonna have to wait that long for him. It's just there's been so much weight being carried on his shoulders that's why I don't really blame him, and I still have a lot of belief in the kid. His touch is just so clean. He's got a lot going for him. I think he's just gonna need to find a way to get some confidence, and hopefully, I still think he's played pretty mature in some games, but I don't know. I'd say he's probably the one that's lacking a bit. Pedro Porro has been fantastic for a long time now.
Definitely.
Top
He's
top
great
player.
against, Udogi as well. Udogi literally took Garnacho on a 90-minute dog walk. He literally got dog walked for 90 minutes by Destiny Udogi. Like that was just straight up bullying. Just honestly.
I mean, that's
Udogi
what I
was-
love. That's what I love about Udogi. I mean, he's just like he'll go against any winger in the world, and he'll go in with full confidence. The strength, the pace he's got is not normal for a kid his age. So yeah, honestly, I love both of our fullbacks. I don't think I'd trade either of them for any
I'll
other.
say this right now. I
fullback
think
in the world.
Udogi's been the best back, the best left back in the league this season. There's literally no left back who's been better. None.
Yeah, I'd say if there's,
I'd take
That's-
Udogi even over, even over someone like Ake who play left back. And everyone knows how much I rate Nathan Ake. Everyone knows how much I rate that player. He's a fantastic footballer. But no, Udogi is just so well-rounded and, so unbelievably balanced as a left back. Great inverted as well as Pedro Porro can go forward. Is great defensively. Just a brilliant modern day fullback. So
no, I honestly do think he may have the highest ceiling of any player at our club. Like I think he's the one to watch. He might be our most valuable asset in that.
And two other players I think we have to talk about: Ben Davies, Emerson Royale. They have had to play at center back on numerous occasions in tough fixtures, and they have done a very good job. So props go to them as well. And last talking points on Tottenham. January signings have been flowing in for Tottenham. Radu Jakushin, Timo Werner on a loan. Talk to me, Andre. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been the story of our season, sort of that Ben Davies Emerson thing. It's like it's just players coming to cover in, and somehow we're making it work. And honestly, it's just like going into the rest of the season, I'm just sick of it. So yeah, bring in reinforcements now. Timo Werner, I think, he's going to bring a lot of stuff that we're lacking right now, even if his final third product isn't the best. It's like I feel like we have final third product in other players, but we're not having good enough ball carriers, which is what Timo Werner can bring. I feel like he can really bring our attack and our link-up play to a whole new level. So I'm excited for that one. Dragusin, yeah, man. I need that Romero backup. We play a really ambitious style. We're getting how many players have been fouled out with the suspensions? It's just like it's too much. So Roger Dragusin is a great signing for us. I'm glad we got that deal in. Yeah. Getting rid of Dyer was an interesting one. I'm hoping for the best for him at Bayern. And I think now they tried to sign Kieran Trippier. Did you guys see that? Bayern trying to get Trippier too. So it's trying to reassemble that Pochettino.
I think this might finally be the season where Bayern actually don't win the league, because and if they don't win that league this season, I think Tuchel's job is done. I could be wrong. If you lot think differently, say it now. But I think his job is absolutely finished if they don't win that Bundesliga, or at least a Champions League, bare minimum.
Yeah, it's just like that's why they literally just give me just in my heart, they just give me the feeling like they're gonna crumble. They feel like bottlers when the big occasions come. I feel like we've already kind of seen teasers of it. I remember the Leipzig, what's it called? What do you call it?
Sounds like Arsenal's title charge last year towards the end of the season, bottling on.
They crumble against that 3-0 in the pre-league, preseason or whatever. I forgot what it's called. What's called in Germany. It's their version of.
They lost to Werder Bremen at home. I don't know why we're talking.
That 1-0. So it's just like. I'm just feeling like they're not. Yeah, it's not clicking. I'm just feeling some toxicity. I don't think Tuchel's the man for that job.
Quite a strange appointment as well. And last one. And Jose, I'll also throw this one out to you because I haven't heard from you a while. Timo Werner. I think I originally I was the first one to start laughing at this time, but now the more I thought about it, the more it actually makes a lot of sense. It's a win-win for Tottenham. If he plays it's like a 50 million euro buy option. He's there. I think it's a loan as well. He's 26 years old. He could play across the front three. And how do you think Timo Werner is going to fit into Tottenham? Or do you think he will take anyone's place? Jose,
You're
you're
muted.
muted.
I don't think he's very good at all. I think he's barely played for Leipzig this season, and that says something. I think he'll mainly be used out wide for Tottenham, and I think he's best down the middle. I don't think he's very good down the middle, but I think he's the best there. I don't really rate him. I think he misses easy chances. He skies balls randomly. Like, he can dribble, I guess. He has some pace. That's all he's got, in my opinion.
Andre, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's no surprise. I mean, we did not sign Timo Werner for the season he's had at Leipzig this season. We signed him for what he brought in his prime, in his years at Leipzig. We're taking a chance on not a player of what he can, of I guess what he's done this season or even last season. We're taking a chance on hoping to revitalize the player we brought, who was good a few years ago. Like, this player is fighting for his career. If this loan doesn't really work out, I don't know that he's going to work out at any team, any big club. So he's here for his career, honestly, most importantly. And if Ange loves a fighter, so yeah, bring me a fighter. The last thing I wanted to say on our transfers was, we have the defensive reinforcement, Werner for offense. Maybe I'd like to sign one more. I don't know. But I think maybe the biggest thing is I want another midfielder. I feel like it's needed. I don't really want to see Skip and Højbjerg anymore. I think Madison is a bit injury prone, so we've coped a bit without him, but I still need another goal scoring midfielder. It's been Bentancur recently, but that's not what I don't want to rely on him for that. I know we've. So that's why I'm down for a Gallagher. I'm down for what's his name?
Conor Gallagher.
Huh?
Good goal scoring midfielder.
I think he has goals in him. Yeah, I think he can find it.
He definitely does.
He does.
He's a high pressing midfielder in our system. I think he could add some goals.
Depends on the system. Under Vieira, he was cooking. Since he's come back to Chelsea, he has not been a goal scoring midfielder.
Exactly, but he fits our system to a T. So I think at our club, he would bring some goals.
Yeah, I agree with Andre.
Maybe. I mean, I think it changes system. He could perhaps do well. But whether he would be starting every week or not, I don't think there's any chance he would. But but maybe, perhaps it could work.
You're disrespecting me. I mean, he's still Chelsea's captain, isn't he?
When there's Thiago Silva, who has achieved how much in football, and they're giving the captaincy to Conor Gallagher.
He's a fighter, Davis. I think if I feel
like who else is a fighter? Scott McTominay. Does that mean he's a good footballer? No. I'm gonna say that now. I'm tired of like just people thinking, oh, they're a passion merchant, they're a fighter on the pitch, they're gonna run around. That means they're a good footballer. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't, for me, but that's bare minimum. You should be running around. You should be fighting for the badge. That's bare minimum for whatever club you play for.
Yet that doesn't happen to half the players on your team.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a huge problem with us.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that we're any better. If anything, we have too many passion merchants. Maguire, McTominay, that just too many. And we threw in another one in Mount. We spent 60 mil on Mount. Bruno's another one. Just look, it's not just Gallagher. Every team has it, but you can't have a full team of passion merchants that just run around.
No, you can't. But that's what I don't. That's fine. But I still think we've got some talent. I just think adding a Conor Gallagher. We still have Pape Sarr, who's seriously brings a great energy to the midfield, and I still think bringing in a Gallagher would over having Højbjerg as a backup would. I still love Højbjerg. I just don't think he's best for us right now.
You love Højbjerg. You love Højbjerg for
yeah, I have a lot of love for Højbjerg, really, but I just think for our system it'd be nice to have another midfielder with a bit more energy. I don't really think Skip is the man we should be relying on as a backup. So
all right. Anyways, now serious West Ham. Let's take a look at West Ham and their past 4 matches. And you know what? They've been looking good. I think the draw against Sheffield United was very unfortunate, though, at the end of the day. Scores and ratings for David Moyes and stand-up players on a negative and positive side of things. Serious, talk to me.
Yeah. They've been pretty decent. I think Paqueta's out. I think he got injured against us, actually, which is a bit of a blow. Some players that have been good recently. Ward-Prowse, he's been good. Scored last game. Pretty unfortunate they conceded. It was what, the 90. It was
Yeah.
no, it was the 13th minute of extra time or
Yeah.
something. Which is
Jose,
crazy.
boy, Jose, your guy Sufal, bro.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He's been amazing. He may have received a second yellow card in the end of the recent match. But don't let that fool you. He's been by far the best fullback in the league this season on any team.
Better than Udogi.
Oh yeah. Well, Udogi's a left back, right?
Yes, but you said
Yeah. Best right back.
Of course.
Easy.
I think another player that we have to talk about, Mohamed Kudus. And this
Yeah,
is what pisses me off about my manager, right? He had the option between Anthony and Kudus. Kudus for 45, Anthony for 85. And he thought, I'm going to sign Anthony for 85 million pounds instead of signing Kudus, who was, half the price and technically a far better footballer and has far more dimensions than Anthony. Well done, Ten Hag, for that one. And he's been absolutely brilliant at West Ham. Same with Jared Bowen. Thomas Suchek's been great as well. Edson Alvarez, Ward-Prowse. Maxwell Cornet scored a great goal at the weekend as well. I'd say the only negative is Said Benrahma. I just think he's fallen off to where he was last season. And the one thing that I do want to say, Calvin Phillips, he has finally found a new club, and that is West Ham on loan. And serious, where do you think Calvin Phillips is going to fit in West Ham's midfield? Do you think he'll even displace anyone looking at that midfield of Souček, Alvarez, and James Ward-Prowse? Do you think he'll even displace anyone?
I don't know. I don't think so because Suchek has been playing well recently as well. He scored against us. Another player's been good. Nabatonis, he's been good recently.
Very good.
But yeah, I don't think he would. Maybe replace Alvarez. Sometimes Alvarez is a little inconsistent, but he's been decent recently too.
No, I agree with that. And what he'll bring to West Ham, I think on the defensive side of things, I think he'll be covered. I don't think West Ham is what was the club to go to for him to be playing every single week because he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be playing every single week. Last side, Wolves, before we get into the next couple of segments of our show, which we will go through relatively quickly. Wolves, taking a look at Wolves. Players remain Gary O'Neill and send up players on a negative and positive side of things.
They've looked pretty good recently. I'd point out Cunha, I think, has been quite good. Otherwise, they're looking very solid defensively and offensively. They've looked really good. I'd give O'Neill probably a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair. Only conceded 2 goals in 4 matches. I think that's very good. They've been defensively very good. Again, I'm going to once again say his name. Juan Michan, Mario Lemina, Ryan Knight-Neary, all 3 of them have been great. Tillman as well. Pedro Neto's coming out from injury, which is also great. And Sarabi and Cunha have also been matching work and have been doing their bits. Now, into the next segment, our show, it will be a brief run through, right? It is January, so it's only right for January to have a January transfer window segment. There have definitely been a lot of rumors flying around with players in the Premier League and across. And I'm just going to throw these rumors out, and you let me know what you think, right? I'll start with the biggest headline. Yeah? What is it, Andre?
No, I was going to say, should we do thumbs up, thumbs down, maybe, when you say the rumor?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And also just say yes, Okay. All right, everyone. The first one, the biggest one. Will Ivan Toney leave Brentford in January? Yes or no? What do you guys think?
No.
Serious, what do you think? Will he leave in January?
No.
Nice. Next, Antonio Nusa. Promising Belgian winger. Andre, this one's specifically for you. To Tottenham Hotspur this January, or a deal could be done this January. What are you saying? Do you think that will happen?
I do think it will happen, but there's a thing where he wants to finish the season at Bruges, so we wouldn't be seeing him this season anyway. So we'd loan him back for 6 months. So yes, I do think we will get it done, but we won't see him this season.
Fair enough. Next, these next two actually directly for you, Andre. First, Emerson Royale. He's been subject to bids from Al Nassr for around 25 million pounds. Will he leave, or would you let him go? Yes or no?
I don't want to let him go. I still want to keep him around. I still think he brings something good.
And your boy Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to leave Tottenham, links to Juventus and Bayern Munich. Will he go this month?
I really think this deal has to be dependent on whether we bring in a really solid midfield option. I don't want to sell Højbjerg and bring in a name I don't know. I'll be honest. I'd be okay with him going, especially to a really like a good club like that. I think he could do well there. I think he'd be a good fit for even like an Atletico Madrid, who he was linked with over the summer. But yeah, I think if we bring in a good midfielder, he'll want to go. He deserves more time than we're giving him.
Fair enough. Now, Sirius, these next couple ones are for you actually. So first, Sirius, we have Amadou Onana. This month, he's been strongly linked with the move to Arsenal. Everton need to sell in order to be, to be on fair play with FFP. Sirius, will Onana leave Everton this month? What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
You think he'll stay? Fair enough. Next, Emile Smith-Rowe. Will he leave Arsenal? Reports saying that links with Aston Villa for a loan for the rest of the season and West Ham. Sirius, will Emile Smith-Rowe leave Arsenal this month?
No, he's not, and that's already confirmed.
And last but not least, they don't have the money for Ivan Toney, so they're turning their attentions to Callum Wilson to reinforce the striking department, linking him with Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. But I think Atletico Madrid are trying to get Moise Kean to replace. I think Angel Correa is going to Saudi. Sirius, will Callum Wilson leave Newcastle this month?
No, I don't think so.
And sticking with Newcastle, actually, Jose, I'll throw this one to you. Kieran Trippier, strongly linked with the move to Bayern. Newcastle putting I think a 15 million pound price tag on his head. Will he stay? Will he go?
I think he'll go. Actually, maybe on deadline day.
And Miguel Almiron links to him going to Saudi to Al Shabab. Will he leave this month? There have been many reports saying that, looks like the deal could be agreed already.
I can see it happening, but not this month at the end of the season.
Yeah, that one's definitely catching some fire. I'm really hoping not. I like seeing him play in this league. I'd be sad if he went. I was sad when what's his name left, Neves. So this would be on level with that.
That's fair enough. Next one, we were talking about him earlier. Conor Gallagher. Will he leave Chelsea this month, or will this be something maybe happening in the summer?
No, he won't leave.
Jose, one for you. Anthony Martial. Will he leave Manchester United this month, or will he walk out the door for free?
He'll walk out for free.
Links to West Ham, teams in the Turkish league, Inter, Milan, and Juventus. Next, a rather interesting one that's definitely been a hot one for this month. Karim Benzema, very unhappy in Saudi, strongly linked to a loan move to the Premier League, links to Chelsea and Arsenal. Will he leave Saudi? Could he come to the Premier League?
Yeah, I would love to see him in the Premier League. I don't think he'll go to the Premier League, though. I think he'll stay in somewhere else in Saudi Arabia.
Next, Giovanni Reina, someone who's been touted to leave Dortmund for a long while, especially because Magai has come in and has already hit the ground running. Apparently, Ten Hag is still, and apparently he is still the problem, even though he's literally hit the ground running and already cooking. But I will not say his name, or else Jose will crucify me. Links with Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Real Sociedad, and Sevilla. So he has a number of interested parties in the race for signature. Will Giovanni Reina leave Dortmund this month? Sirius, I'll throw this one to you. What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Jose, what do you think?
I don't think he'll leave this month. I think he'll leave in the summer.
And last but not least, Jose Mourinho. Joe, you're talking about this before. Will he come back to the Premier League? Links to Chelsea and Newcastle. Will we see?
No, he'll stay.
Back?
He'll stay in Italy. I think.
That's fair enough. Second to last part of the show, it's mid-season. So guess what? We're doing mid-season team of the season. We're doing 2, best and worst. Jose, I'll start with you. Who is your mid-season best 11?
Okay, let me think about this. I would go with in goal Alisson.
Okay.
And then I'll agree that Udogi has been the best left back so far this season, so I'll put him in. While I do actually think that Soufal has been fantastic this season, I have to put in Trent as my right back. And then my center backs, I would go with, trying not to forget about anyone. Saliba definitely has to be one.
Mhm.
And then another one could be, let's go Van Dijk. Van Dijk's looked quite good.
Okay.
And then midfield, I would go. I think Szoboszlai has to be in there.
Okay.
Who else? I'll throw Rodri in 'cause every time he goes out, City really struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Douglas Luiz as well of Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's
And
very
then
close.
up front, I'm gonna go Mohamed Salah, Holland, and let's go with Leon Bailey as well.
That's very interesting. Leon Bailey. That's
Yeah,
a very
You
interesting.
have to have some Aston Villa players in there.
No, of course. No, but Leon Bailey, I find that very interesting. Sirius, you are next. Give me your mid-season team of the season. Give me your
Probably let's go Ederson, Saliba. I don't know. I agree with Joe for the rest.
It's a good take. I actually would throw. I would throw Declan Rice over Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, seriously, I will come back to you after Joe because I'm absolutely not having that in any way, shape, or form. So I will get back to some next one. And I'll interpret that as Sagai once again can't be asked to answer basic shit. That's what I will take it as. Andre, over to you.
Can you hear me? I can't hear anything.
No, I can hear you. Well, he's gone for. I guess in the meantime, Joe, I do want to ask though, why Leon Bailey though? I find that really interesting.
So I think he's been their best and most consistent attacker this season, and every time I look at a game, he's either scored or assisted. So I feel like he's just been kind of carrying their attack so far this season.
I agree to that.
I guess you could say Ollie Watkins has been quite good as well.
I think you're forgetting about Jared Bowen. I think he's been absolutely.
Jared Bowen's been quite good. I did also. Oh, Son. Forgot about Son as well. Son could be there instead of Bailey, I think.
So you're gonna put Son in instead of Leon Bailey.
Yeah, I'll throw Son in.
That's all right. Fair enough.
Hello?
All right, Andre, we can hear you.
Oh, there. Yeah, my audio cut out sometime doing a series.
What is your mid-season team of the season?
Man, I feel super on the spot. I'm gonna stick with my guy. I'm gonna go Vic in goal, but I think Vic and Alisson have both been really good. But yeah, Vicario in goal, Porro on the right. Let's stick Saliba in the middle. Let's go Van Dijk, Saliba, Van Dijk. Let's go Udogi on the left. Rodri for sure gets in the midfield. James Maddison, I know he's been a bit absent these past few games, but I still feel like the best creative midfielder that we've seen so far.
Your front three, or wait? Oh wait, no, you're missing another.
Yeah, I'm still missing one more midfielder, and that's where I don't know if I want to go defensive, offensive, or I think the names I'm thinking right now: Bernardo Silva, Declan Rice, And then I know Jose put Shobo, so maybe I'll be excited to do that. Let's do Rodri, Madison, and Shobo's line. That's fun. Let's do that.
Jose
And
actually
then,
did his. Jose actually took out Leon Bailey. He put Son in.
I did put Son. when you were-
okay, that's what I was gonna do. I'm doing Stone, Holland, and Salah.
All right. I guess I'll go with mine. All right, and you lot can let me know whether you agree or not. I'm gonna go Vicario in goal because I think he's been
Thank you,
absolutely
thank you.
outstanding, honestly. I'll go. It's between Trent and Porro, but I'm gonna go Trent. As good as Porro's been this season. I'll be basic. I'll do Saliba and Van Dijk. I'll go Udogie on the left. Midfield. Bernardo's going straight in there. How none of you put Bernardo Silva?
Hey, I thought about it.
No, Bernardo's going straight into.
No, I love Bernardo, but I think my three have all been better than Bernardo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you had
Declan Rice, Rodri, and Szoboszlai.
I'm not sure Szoboszlai has been better than Bernardo, but yeah, Rodri goes straight in there for me. Bernardo does as well, and the other midfielder it's Szoboszlai's up there. I'm liking Douglas Luiz. I'm going Douglas Luiz. I'm doing Bernardo, Douglas Luiz, and Rodri. And my front three, Jared Bowen is taking his place in this front three because he has been absolutely on fire this season. Mo Salah, and I will go. Definitely no Man United attackers, that's for sure. I'll go with Son and as well. And the final segment, of course, with the matches at the weekend. Match day 22. Well, let's do quick fire. And the one thing is, I will say, serious for the love for all that's holy. I am praying that I'll see.
Yours and I just
a
think
little
very
more-
similarly, Davis.
Hmm?
Like we have very similar
I'm
football
sure.
brains.
I'm sure. First, Nottingham Forest host Arsenal. Serious. I will go straight over to you for this one.
Arsenal 3-0.
Joe.
Yeah, I agree with Sirius on that one.
And Andre, what about you?
I'll go 2-0 Arsenal.
Luton hosting Brighton. Sirius, we'll start with you again.
Tie.
Score? Like, what's the score?
1-1.
1-1. Joe.
I'll go 0-0.
And Andre, what about you?
Let's go 2-1 Brighton.
Okay. Fulham hosting Everton. Sirius.
Fulham 2-0.
Jose.
Everton 2-1.
And Andre.
Let's go 2-2.
Palace hosting Sheffield United. Oh, jeez, that's gonna be that's gonna be an absolute boredom of a match. Serious.
1-0 Palace.
Okay, Joe. What about you?
2-0 Palace.
And Andre.
Wait, who's home?
Palace.
Palace is home.
Let's go 1-1.
Okay. Aston Villa hosting Newcastle. That's gonna be a good game. Serious.
2-2.
Joe, what are you saying?
Villa win 3-1.
And Andre, what about you?
I feel like the scoreline is going to be 3-1, but I don't know who. I feel like Newcastle could kind of pull off a random upset. No, it's fine. I'll go same. I'll copy Joe today. Let's go 3-1 to Villa.
Unbelievable. City hosting Burnley. This will be pretty straightforward. Serious. What are you saying?
City 3-0.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Sirius on that one.
I would probably agree with Serious as well. That's fair. Andre?
I'm going to go 6-0.
6-0.
Burnley. Said Burnley. No,
No,
yeah, it's City.
Pep will
Let's
have
go
mercy.
6-0.
I thought you were going to say Man City.
6-0 City.
No, Pep will have mercy. on Company.
You never know. Yeah, true. It is company, so you never know. You might be a little nicer to him. Tottenham hosting Brentford. Series, back over to you.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Tottenham.
And Joe, what about you?
I'm gonna go 2-2.
And Andre, what are you saying?
I think we'll kill him. Actually, let's go. Yeah, let's go 3-1. Tottenham.
Liverpool hosting Chelsea. Series.
2-2.
All right, Joe, what are you saying?
Yeah, 1-1 for me.
Andre?
2-1 Liverpool.
West Ham hosting Bournemouth. I think that's going to be a good match. Series, what are you saying?
West Ham 2-1.
Joe
3-2 West Ham.
and Andre, what are you saying?
Let's go 2-2.
And last but not least, Wolves hosting Manchester United. Serious, what are you saying?
2-2.
Joe, what are you saying?
Yeah, we don't usually do very well against Wolves at Molineux. I'd go 2-1 Wolves.
And Andre, what are you saying?
Let's go. Yeah, we can 2-1 Wolves.
And there you have it. There has been season 4, episode 6. Thank you so much for watching our upload, and let us know down in the comments below what are your thoughts on anything and everything addressed in this feature of Premier League Prime Time. Smash a like on the video and make sure you subscribe to our channel. And be sure to check out our other platforms on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And we hope you have an absolutely fantastic day/evening. Take care.